Okay, Dev, I'm going to give you the structure I use to do muscle exercise. Normally in guitar, the classical players, they are obsessed with speed, but this is not the point. So for me, you can work. You need the technique to give you the possibility to express easy, music. So in guitar, you have basically, to simplify it, you have chords, which plaqué, no? The chords means that you play the chord, and all the notes are simultaneously, no? Chords, it can be, okay, but then you have arpèges, and arpèges are, so instead of simultaneous playing, they come one after the other, no? Okay, so you have already worked all kinds of exercises to do chords. To practice the simultaneously, how to, for example, how to have the technique for getting very crystal clear chords, no? So you have to have the fingernails very well down, and some finger may give more volume than the other. All this is working with the ear, no? With the arpège, with the arpège, also you have many formulas I give you, etc. No? So using the diminish, because this gives to the ear a sense of progression, no? On the first position, on the second, the fourth, and here you can do the work of chords, so plaqué, or arpège, one after the other. But one of the most important things also is lines. So lines is the melody, and the melody, to work the mechanism of the melody, I'm going to give you scales. But the scales are stupid to do C major, D major. This has no value at all, because that's losing time. The real work of your scales should be to practice the scales that are inside your program. So in the future, when your program will be very big, some pieces will have scales on your repertoire. And these are the only scales that you will practice. And you don't lose time playing C major, D major, stupid things, But before that, you need to master the mechanism, no? The muscles. So for that, normally in guitar players, they use these two fingers. 90% of them, they use these two fingers. But from the very early childhood, I realized that this finger is longer, much longer, you see? You see, this finger, the middle finger, is very long. So to be able to balance both, I need to do inclination like this. And this is the technique of Andrés Segovia, Julian Bring, all the old school, they have these kind of positions, just to have these two balance. So out of intuition, when I was young, I realized that these two fingers, index and ring finger, A and I, they have the same length. So I prefer to have these two as the violin articulation, So in the violin, normally when you do binaire rhythm, you have 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, no? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8, no? Or ticota, ticota, tic. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So for me in the guitar, the violin arch, for me is these two. You see why? Because they have the same length. You see? If I put the M is so long that it requires an inclination to balance. And for me, that gives you a lot of difficulties, because when you are doing chords, for example, you have this PI angle. The PI angle is the base of my technique, you know, with the aguado. So this position, it will remain fixed. It's like the piano mechanism of hammers. So the piano mechanism don't move. It's a fixed mechanism made on wood, no? But the guitar players, the old school, you will see that they are forced to do that when they have to do scales or very fast lines. No? So to avoid that, when I do chords, when I do arpège, I don't move. But when I do lines, it's exactly the same position. So I can come from the line So this is the explanation. So to work the mechanism, as you see here, I'm going to give you just two fingering. One is working one scale on nylons only, on the first one. And it will be a formula with these 4. And then we move one fret up and we do 4. And here finish the octave. So we do one octave. Okay, so we will do and then we go up 1/2 tone. Okay, and only from the 7th till the 12th. That's all. But be careful. We are going to do, the Western music has only, basically, if you analyze all the music that you play, is either binaire or ternaire. All the pieces. The modern music, the contemporary music, they have introduced polyrhythmic and very funny rhythm with 5, with 7, but this is not the case with the normal guitar repertoire. So we are going to work those scales doing on one beat. I call beat pulse. For me, pulse is the breathing heart of the music. And it's always the first beat of one pulse. Beat is the subdivision of that pulse. Beat is metronomical, the machine. And pulse is not metronomical, pulse is human. So we are going to do, we choose one beat, which is what you can do to the maximum speed. And we will start with 4, not like. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 1, 1, 1. Okay? But Now you do 8 with the same pulse. If the pulse was 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, tico, 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 we are going to put in the same one either 4, either 8. And then we introduce 6. We have introduced now the ternary rhythm. And 6, 8 is double 3. Okay, so it's not just playing the mechanism, but it's become the rhythm, mastering the pulse, not the metro. Because if you get obsessed with the metro, you lost your heart in music. Because music can never be metronomical. So music has the rhythm, but you cannot cut the dissection of the pulse. So the pulse can be enlarging, making shorter or longer according to the flow of the music. So the music has a rhythm, but if you want to play metronomically, if I put a metro and I play this piece, it dies. It's metronomical, but something is lost, and this is what you have to practice with the scale. You are playing scales very rhythmic, but mastering the pulse, not the metro. To master the pulse, you have to master the metro first. So the exercise is simply this. So 4. 6. 6, 8. And then you move 1 octave higher, and then 1 octave higher, 1 octave higher, 1 octave higher. But be careful, this is playing the scales as solo lines. Only the line is there, scales. But normally in music you have to play adding a bass. You understand? So we have to add this difficulty. It's not only playing this, but it's together simultaneously with one low note on the bass. You can also change the strings. Or you can combine the strings. Okay? Because this is what you will find in real performing, in real playing. When you will be playing any piece, for example, so you will be playing the line, the first note, not like this. There will be, see, there is a chord, plaqué. lines, but there's a bass, and that becomes more difficult, but from the very beginning you have to learn to do scales, not only lines, but with, because when you will be playing, you will normally find that the scales will have somehow. It's not. You will have to do something before or at the end. Okay, so that is the work. So I repeat, you do these scales on the nylons, and when you have that, when you master that, you will do the full chromatic scale on guitar, which are 3 octaves. One is the 1, 3, the 3 octave from the 12 to the last open 6. And you will do what you practice here of 4, 8, 6, and 6, 8. You will do basically playing the chromatic scale. For example, 4. You see, it's not a question of playing regular, because regularity doesn't exist in music. Only machines are regular. When you put on an engine of a car, it's regular. Chaka, chaka, chaka. The car is roaring. No? But in music, lines are always dynamic. They're either growing in volume or diminishing in volume. So you have to practice this giving volume, open volume, closing volume, because this requires the control of your muscles. No? It's not just playing, but for example, you can start pianissimo and you give up the volume, or the contrary. So that requires that your ear have to listen, and in a very short time, your unconscious brain have to reduce the muscle pressure that you do on the string. So the result is and that becomes more difficult in a sense. But when you master all this in your practice, daily practice, it's only 15 minutes before you start playing. So before you start practicing your music, you do you check how goes your plaqué, how goes your your arpège, with all the formulas that you have. And then you do lines. Normally the lines, when you do lines, you will have to use rest stroke, apoyando, no? And also in the scales, it is very natural in guitar that the first note is slower with the second. You know, you do a ligado. In piano, every note has to be played with a hammer. In guitar, no. In guitar, we have the slur, or you see, you have the the first note of the scale, normally on the Spanish school of guitar, always we do ligado. The same up. Oh. See, if I start here, I don't play. Because that imitates the arch of the violin. You know? The violin will do something like this, and then the first one is very powerful, and then he will use maybe the Swiss. So actually the guitar well played is just reproducing what the human voice or instruments like oboe or clarinet or violin, they do very naturally. Okay, so if you see, for example, my scales of my repertoire, so I don't practice a scale, I just practice the scales of my repertoire. This is one. Because the first note starts here. The first note here. You see the first note. Or another scale. See the first one. Here, I am playing 2 times the same note. So this kind of articulation comes from the violin. Okay. And guitar, you do always combinations between playing simultaneously your 2 fingers, but combining with slurs. All the first note of any line normally will be played with a slur. For example, you remember? Okay, for example, no? Any line will be always used on guitar, combination of percussion, right hand, and helping with a slur on the left side. And that will reduce the number of time that you play with the right hand. But where to put the slur is always a musical decision. So, and for that, you need to simply sing it. If you sing, you will find which is the right place to do the ligado. Right? If I will sing that, I will have to do exactly the same. In the melody, there are notes that are following a prosodic accent. So music is a language. If you don't put the accent on the right syllable of a word, of a phrase, you don't understand the meaning. So in the guitar, when you do this kind of, the right hand it may be playing very fast, but is always helped by the left hand by doing slurs in the right point where the melody has to be expressed prosodically. If you play like a piano, I don't have the expression. See, I cannot do it. It looks very... The piano players, they will do with their own technique, but with the guitarist... If I write this, maybe I play 14 notes, but with the right hand, I only play 9 or 8. And with the left hand, I play 3 or 4. Okay? So that is the work for you to do daily as technique is concerned. And once you do that for 15 minutes, you start practicing your program, you start playing your repertoire. Namaskar, my name is Sangit Prats. I am a classical guitar player and music teacher from Spain, living currently in Kathmandu, Nepal. After a long career as a concert player touring the world, I decided to retire in this beautiful country, which is Nepal. Due to my age and nationality, I have the privilege to study the purest classical guitar with legendary great Spanish masters like Andrés Segovia or José Luis Rodrigo. Even though I have been trained in the purest classical guitar school, today my approach to music is closer to creativity rather than just performing. For me, I enjoy more composing or doing my own arrangement rather than just playing perfectly a musical score. This philosophy of being creative is also applied to the way I teach guitar, using an easy method based on simplifying technique to the maximum, to focus on doing music and playing easy pieces for fresh beginners. Nepali people are very talented in music, and they are great guitar players in Nepal, but the Spanish classical guitar school is totally unknown in this country. I offer guitar lessons either private in my home or classes online via Zoom application. Have a look to my website and discover the genuine Spanish classical guitar style, now available in Nepal.